Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 takeaways episode from the Gerell Webb interview this past Monday. I hope you guys loved Gerell's passion and his energy for fitness and getting people healthier and feeling better, because he's got this no BS approach that a lot of people don't have. He's like, look, if you're willing and committed to put in the work, I will get you to where you want to be, but I'm not going to take some of your BS excuses. Also, he has this awesome story about trying to make it in football, but then realizing he had this passion for fitness and this expertise to be able to coach people to achieving their goals. And then he took that on, and his story about his mother and all that she's gone through has been amazing. But go back and listen to this episode if you have not listened to it, guys, and go ahead and follow him on Instagram at iTrain365. He puts out some great stuff. But let's go ahead and get right into my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is it's never too late. I think a lot of us have this approach to goals and different things in life in general that it's now or never. And very seldom is that actually the case. Yeah, there's maybe some things where it's now or never, but for the majority of things that are important in life, that's not the case. And his mom is the perfect example of this. She was 16 when she had her first child, and she was still in high school. She did graduate high school, but she couldn't go right to college because she was in a position where she had to provide for her children, make money right away. So she wasn't able to go to college and attack her goal of becoming a nurse. Ever since Gerell can remember, she had the 2 goals of becoming a nurse and owning a Jaguar, but she wasn't able to take those on right away because she had these children. And it was really awesome because later on in life, she actually graduated college a year or 2 after Gerell did. That's his mother. And she still was focused on being able to attack those goals later on in life because she was that committed to it. So always remember, guys, for 99% of the things, it's never too late. You can still attack that goal. Don't let age be a limiting factor, whether you're too young or you're too old. Don't let that age hold you back. Takeaway number 2 is exposure shapes reality. This was my favorite thing that he said probably the entire interview. Exposure shapes reality. He is trying to be the example for his nephews right now and showing them what success looks like. He wasn't necessarily exposed to what the particular success that he is having right now looks like. Like, his mother was an amazing role model, but she always had to work for somebody, and he wanted to be able to get to the point to work for himself. So he's trying to set that example for his nephews right now because he doesn't have any kids yet, that you can do this. You can make it on your own and that sort of thing. And there's a guy that I follow named Ed Milet, and he talks about how the smallest group of people that get rich is the middle class. And here's the reason for that. People who grow up wealthy are exposed to that wealthiness and kind of how it's been able to be generated. And they kind of have a model to be able to replicate that. And then the poor on the other end of the spectrum, or the people that don't grow up with as much, know what they want to avoid. They have this thing that's like, I know I don't want to live like this. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that that doesn't happen. So the middle class is kind of right there in the center of mediocre, that I don't necessarily know how to replicate it, but this isn't that bad, so I'm just going to kind of stay here. So it's really important to be able to be exposed to certain things to be able to try to replicate that, or to know what to particularly avoid. And then my 3rd takeaway is, are they right? The question, are they right? I think we neglect asking ourselves those questions whenever we get both positive and negative feedback, praise or criticism. I think that that's probably one of the most important things that we can do nowadays in our society, because we do get so much feedback, positive, negative, praise, criticism, all these things, social media, from different mentors, coaches, teachers, parents, all these sorts of things. But you have to evaluate what kind of perspective that person is coming from. Do they know really what you're going through? Do they know your story? Do they know what you've experienced? If you feel like their feedback, positive or negative, is coming from a place that actually is right, then I'm going to take that on. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to grow from it and get better from it. But if after you evaluate, you realize that that person doesn't really know what I've gone through, they don't know my story and that sort of thing, then it's like, okay, I'm going to push that off to the side and not let that affect my mood positively or negatively. Because I think there is sometimes praise that we get. It's like, okay, that person is just kind of really being nice and they don't really know what's going on. And if it's criticism, it's like, okay, that person maybe just went through a bad breakup. They had a bad experience in life, whatever it is. It's really important to evaluate whether somebody is coming from a particular perspective. So again, my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is it's never too late. Don't have this It's now or never mentality about reaching your goals in life, and don't set limiting factors on yourself based on age. Number 2, exposure shapes reality. I would really challenge you to seek being exposed to things that you want to be able to replicate, and then also maybe seek being exposed to things that will motivate you to try to avoid. And then number 3 is, are they right? Make sure you're evaluating the different feedback you get, whether it's positive or negative, and take in the ones that where the person is coming from a experience or a perspective that they are right, and then learn from it. And then if they're not, then just push that off to the side. Hope you guys really enjoyed this interview. If you have not listened to it yet, please go listen to it, rate and review this podcast. I hope you guys are getting a lot out of these next few shows. We have some awesome people coming up. I am absolutely stoked for the guests that you guys are about to get. Some powerful people, some powerful tips, tools, tips, and inspiration for you guys to work on becoming the best version of yourself. Have a phenomenal rest of the day.